In recent years, the United States law enforcement agencies, and the whole country at large, have suffered security problems, not from foreigners, but from inside its own security details. In this video, we will cover the worst cybersecurity attacks faced by the US government, and the cybercriminals behind all of them. We will see how they broke into systems, and enforced dangerous attacks. We will see their successful crimes, and the failures that sent them behind bars. First on the list, Joshua Adam Schultz. On the 7th of March, 2017, WikiLeaks published Vault 7, a massive collection of CIA hacking tools, manuals, and cyberespionage tactics used to infiltrate smartphones, smart TVs, and foreign networks. The leak shocked the intelligence community, and within a couple of months, suspicion turned inward. Joshua Adam Schultz, born on the 25th of September, 1988, in Lubbock, Texas, was a software engineer who had joined the CIA in 2010, after graduating from the University of Texas at Austin. He worked at the CIA's Elite Operations Support Branch at Langley, Virginia, specializing in offensive cyber tools. At some point Schultz began to clash with colleagues. And after a series of disputes, he resigned from the CIA in November 2016. Just 4 months later, WikiLeaks began publishing tools that only Schultz and a handful of insiders had access to. The FBI searched his Manhattan apartment in March 2017 and arrested him. At that time, he wasn't arrested for espionage, at least not yet. Instead, in August 2017, Schultz was arrested and jailed on charges of possessing and distributing child sexual abuse materials, which investigators found on servers he owned. In June 2018, federal prosecutors indicted him for the Vault 7 leak, charging him with 13 counts, including illegal transmission of national defense information, theft of government property, and obstruction of justice. On the 13th of September, 2023, a jury found him guilty on all counts, including receipt, possession, and transportation of child sex abuse material. On the 1st of February 2024, U.S. District Judge Jesse Matthew Furman sentenced Schultz to a combined 40-year prison term, accounting for espionage, computer hacking, false statements, contempt of court, and child pornography. Prosecutors had sought a life term, but the judge imposed 400 months for spying-related counts, and about 80 months for child pornography, to run concurrently, totaling 40 years. He is incarcerated at ADX Florence. Buster Jim Hernandez. From 2012 to 2017, using extortion, manipulation, and threats of violence, Hernandez, with the alias Brian Kill and Purge of Maine, targeted underage girls online, typically through platforms like Facebook, posing as a peer to lure them into sharing explicit photos. Once he had the images, he'd blackmail the victims, demanding more content or threatening to harm their families. His demands grew more violent and twisted over time. And when victims resisted, he didn't back down. In one case, he sent threats to commit mass shootings at the victims' schools, prompting real lockdowns and federal investigations. The FBI and Homeland Security were tracking him across multiple jurisdictions, Indiana, California, Ohio, and beyond. But Hernandez was a master of evasion. He used encrypted messaging, anonymous browsing networks, and disposable accounts. Authorities struggled to unmask him, until he made a critical mistake. In 2017, after threatening a school in Plainfield, Indiana, Hernandez unknowingly downloaded a corrupted video file that exploited a vulnerability in his Tails operating system, a tool designed for online anonymity. The file was crafted by the FBI. It revealed his real IP address, finally exposing his identity. Buster Jim Hernandez was arrested in August 2017 at his residence in Bakersfield, California. Investigators recovered hard drives, phones, and online accounts, uncovering evidence that he had targeted more than 375 minor victims nationwide. He was charged federally on 41 counts, and in 2021, he was sentenced to 75 years in prison. He's currently held in the high-security United States Penitentiary in Tucson, Arizona. The Scattered Spider Syndicate. In late 2022, a new name began to haunt the cybersecurity industry. The Scattered Spider, also tracked by cybersecurity firms as UNC 3944. By mid-2023, this group had become one of the most notorious cybercriminal syndicates in the United States. Operating primarily out of the US and the UK, members of Scattered Spider launched a series of coordinated cyber attacks, targeting major American corporations, including MGM Resorts International and Caesars Entertainment in Las Vegas, Nevada. The group's method was direct and highly manipulative social engineering. Members used SIM swapping, phishing calls, and impersonation tactics to gain access to internal networks. Once inside, they deployed ransomware and stole sensitive data, sometimes threatening to leak it publicly unless multimillion-dollar ransoms were paid. In September 2023, the cyber attack on MGM Resorts forced the company to shut down internal systems, causing days of outages and an estimated $100 million in losses. The attack on Caesars Entertainment also resulted in a $15 million ransom paid to prevent the public release of stolen customer data. One of the group's earliest known attacks dates back to 2022, when UNC 3944 targeted telecom providers and cryptocurrency platforms. Federal investigators, including the FBI and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, flagged the group as a major threat. What set Scattered Spider apart was that many of its members were teenagers and young adults, some barely out of high school. In January 2024, federal agents arrested Noah Michael Urban in Florida. Known online by aliases including Sosa, King Bob, and Elijah, Urban was charged with orchestrating a string of SIM-swapping attacks that allowed him to intercept authentication codes and gain access to victims' email and cryptocurrency accounts. Prosecutors allege he stole over $800,000 in digital assets through these tactics. Then, in June 2024, Spanish police arrested Tyler Buchanan while attempting to board a flight to Italy. Tyler was reportedly in possession of $27 million worth of Bitcoin. Authorities believe he played a central role in managing the group's operations. Other arrests were made with investigations still ongoing. Despite these arrests, cybersecurity experts warn that Scattered Spider is far from dismantled. Their tactics, built more on manipulation than code, continue to pose a major threat to corporations across the United States. Ramon Olorunwa Abbas. In June 2020, inside a luxurious apartment at the Palazzo Versace Hotel in Dubai, authorities carried out a dramatic early morning raid. Ramon Olorunwa Abbas, better known online as Hush Puppy, was arrested by Dubai police in collaboration with the FBI. The operation, codenamed Fox Hunt 2, uncovered evidence of a sprawling cybercrime ring. He was arrested alongside Young Chains, Logic, Zico, and Mr. Woodbury in simultaneous raids. Authorities seized over $40 million in cash, 13 luxury cars, 21 laptops, 47 smartphones, 15 memory storage devices, 5 external hard drives, and 800,000 emails of potential victims. The charges? Conspiracy to launder hundreds of millions of dollars obtained through business email compromise frauds, identity theft, and other internet scams. One of the most notable schemes involved an attempt to steal $124 million from an English Premier League football club. Abbas's online persona told a different story. To his millions of Instagram followers, he was a self-made billionaire from humble beginnings, dressed in designer clothes, traveling by private jet, and dining in the world's most expensive restaurants. He claimed to be a successful real estate developer based in Dubai. But behind the filtered photos was a criminal enterprise operating across several continents. Born on the 11th of October, 1982, in Lagos, Nigeria, Abbas grew up in the densely populated suburb of Oworonshoko. By his own accounts, he once sold second-hand clothes in the streets of Lagos. But over the years, he cultivated connections in the cybercrime underworld. His alleged co-conspirators included Galib Alamari, a Canadian money launderer who was later convicted, and other operatives involved in international bank heists and phishing operations. Following his arrest, Abbas was extradited to the United States and appeared before the U.S. District Court in Los Angeles on the 3rd of July, 2020. In 2021, he pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to engage in money laundering. The court documents revealed he had helped launder money from North Korean hackers and had defrauded a Qatari businessman of over $1 million by posing as a consultant who could secure a fake loan. On the 8th of November, 2022, Judge Otis Delino Wright II sentenced Abbas to 135 months, just over 11 years, in a federal prison. He was also ordered to pay $1.7 million in restitution to 2 fraud victims. As of 2025, he is serving his sentence at Federal Correctional Institution Fort Dix in New Jersey, and is scheduled to be released on the 6th of August, 2029. Between 2005 and 2008, a shadow crept into America's digital infrastructure. It didn't wear a mask or carry a weapon, but it stole more than 170 million credit card numbers in one of the largest data breaches in U.S. history. Behind it all was Albert Gonzalez, known in underground forums as Kumbajani and Segvec. Operating from Miami, Florida, Gonzalez orchestrated a massive hacking ring targeting major retailers including TJX Companies, Heartland Payment Systems, Dave & Buster's, and Hannaford Brothers. Using a combination of SQL injection attacks and packet sniffing, he and his crew infiltrated company networks, installing backdoors to siphon off customer credit card information. Once stolen, the data was sold on the black market or encoded onto blank cards for massive ATM withdrawals. But this wasn't his first offense. In 2003, Gonzalez was arrested in New York for debit card fraud involving ATM theft. Surprisingly, after his arrest, the U.S. Secret Service recruited him as a confidential informant. He began cooperating with law enforcement while secretly continuing his criminal operations, betraying both the cybercrime underworld and federal agents. By 2008, his double life unraveled. After months of surveillance and investigation, Gonzalez was arrested at a hotel in Miami on the 7th of May, 2008. Authorities seized over $1.6 million in cash, luxury items, and even a firearm. His crime spanned multiple states and multiple levels of betrayal. In 2010, Albert Gonzalez appeared before federal courts in Boston and New Jersey. He pleaded guilty to charges including conspiracy, wire fraud, and unauthorized access of protected computers. In March 2010, he was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. He was also ordered to forfeit more than $1.65 million, plus other items. He is currently serving his sentence at the Federal Correctional Institution in Yazoo City, Mississippi. Albert Gonzalez once called his cyber attacks, "Mission Get Rich or Die Tryin'." But in the end, it was greed, arrogance, and a double game that brought down one of the most prolific hackers. In February 2022, federal agents arrested Heather Morgan and her husband, Ilya Lichtenstein, in New York City, for conspiring to launder billions in stolen Bitcoin, an audacious scheme linked to the 2016 hack of cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex. At the time of their arrest, the couple allegedly possessed access to nearly 120,000 stolen Bitcoin, then valued at over $4.5 billion, making it one of the largest financial seizures in U.S. history. While the original hack wasn't attributed directly to them, prosecutors claimed Morgan and Lichtenstein worked methodically over 6 years to launder the digital assets, using fake identities, online wallets, and complex crypto transactions to mask their trail. Heather Morgan wasn't a typical criminal suspect. By day, she presented herself as an entrepreneur, copywriter, and self-styled economist. But online, she adopted the persona Razzlekhan, a self-proclaimed crocodile of Wall Street, known for bizarre, offbeat rap videos and outlandish social media content. Her songs and posts, often filmed in flashy outfits around Wall Street, became notorious after her arrest, revealing a surreal double life. She was born in 1990, in Oregon, and graduated from UC Davis, and claimed to have worked in venture capital and SaaS sales before pivoting to thought leadership. She regularly published articles in Forbes, promoting advice on cybersecurity and entrepreneurship, ironically, while allegedly laundering money behind the scenes. On the 3rd of August, 2023, both Morgan and Lichtenstein pleaded guilty in a federal court in Washington, D.C. Morgan admitted to 1 count of money laundering conspiracy, and 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States. Her plea deal included cooperation with investigators and potential restitution. She was sentenced to 18 months in prison. Her husband, Ilya Lichtenstein, was sentenced to 60 months in prison. Max Ray Vision. In 2007, federal agents stormed a modest home in San Francisco and arrested a man known online as Iceman. That man is Max Ray Butler, a former cybersecurity consultant turned one of the most notorious black hat hackers in U.S. history, hacking into thousands of systems and stealing over 1.8 million credit card numbers. The financial loss was nearly $86 million. Butler didn't start out as a criminal. He was born on the 10th of July, 1972, in Meridian, Idaho, and grew up fascinated with computers. In the 1990s, he gained early recognition in the cybersecurity world, even writing patches to fix security holes in the bind server software. But his curiosity soon crossed ethical boundaries. In 2000, he was caught installing backdoors into government servers while testing system vulnerabilities. That led to an 18-month sentence in federal prison in 2001. After his release in 2003, Butler rebranded himself, this time under the alias Iceman. He created Carter's Market, a forum where hackers could trade stolen credit card data and tools of the trade. Unlike previous carding forums that were fragmented, Butler's platform united criminals under one roof, with him at the center of it all. He was no longer just stealing data. He was running the black market itself. Federal agents caught up with him again in 2007. After months of tracking his activity, they raided his home and found laptops filled with stolen financial data. In 2010, Max Ray Vision pleaded guilty in a federal court in Pittsburgh to wire fraud and identity theft. On the 12th of February, 2010, he was sentenced to 13 years in federal prison, including 5 years of supervised release and $27.5 million in restitution, according to the FBI. Vyacheslav Penchikov. In the shadowy corners of the internet, few names stirred as much fear in financial institutions as Vyacheslav Penchikov, better known by his alias, Tank. Born in Donetsk, Ukraine, Penchikov led one of the most notorious cybercrime syndicates of the 21st century. His weapon was a piece of malicious software known as Zeus. Between 2009 and 2012, Penchikov and his criminal enterprise deployed the Zeus malware to silently infiltrate computers across the United States and beyond. Once installed, Zeus allowed Penchikov's group to harvest bank login credentials, enabling them to steal millions of dollars from unsuspecting victims. The funds were laundered through a vast network of money mules and shell companies. One of the most damaging operations involved coordinating with US-based accomplices who opened fraudulent accounts to funnel stolen funds overseas. But Penchikov wasn't new to cybercrime. US federal prosecutors had been tracking him since 2012, when he was first indicted in Nebraska for his role in leading the Zeus banking Trojan conspiracy. For years, he managed to evade arrest by staying in Ukraine, protected in part by powerful political and business connections. That all changed in October 2022, when Swiss authorities, acting on a US extradition request, arrested Penchikov in Geneva. At the time, he was living under a false name and carrying forged identification documents. His capture marked a breakthrough in a decade-long international manhunt. In 2023, Penchikov was extradited to the United States, where he appeared before a federal court in Lincoln, Nebraska. He was charged with multiple counts, including conspiracy to commit bank fraud, identity theft, and wire fraud. The charges stem from his leadership of the original Zeus malware scheme and his later involvement in the Heist ID malware group, a successor network that continued high-level cyber heists. In 2024, Penchikov pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud and identity theft. He was sentenced to 2 concurrent 9-year terms, for conspiracy to participate in racketeering and conspiracy to commit wire fraud, plus $70 to $73 million in restitution, and 3 years supervised release. Thank you for staying till the end. If you like this video and want to see more like this, where we break down true crime events in the United States, I will be more than happy to see you subscribe to this channel. Like this video and hit the bell icon to be the first to know when the next video drops tomorrow.